Yo, what's cracking, everybody? As you could tell by the title of the video, I have stopped using pitch correction in my music. And the main reason as to why I've stopped using pitch correction is mostly just because it takes away a certain element of humanity that comes out through the vocal. And that can sound like kind of a cheesy reason when you say it out loud, but I really do think that it impacts the overall feel of the music. You know, instruments of any kind are a very expressive thing, and the human voice is an instrument at the end of the day. So there's like a whole bunch of different ways that you can express yourself through your vocals, you know, the most obvious one being the lyrics. But when we look at singing specifically as opposed to rapping, the melody and the different inflections that you use on your voice can all convey a certain emotion. And if you just take pitch correction and just haphazardly slap it onto your vocals, it can kind of ruin all of that. So as a perfect example of that, I have this little section of a song that I'm going to be releasing next week titled Time in a Fishbowl. And you can see I have the main takes, which are the ones that I'm using in the released version of the song. And then I also have these pitch corrected takes, where I basically went into NuTone, which is the default pitch corrector inside of FL Studio. And I dragged all the notes so that way they were perfectly in key, which is B minor in the case of this song. So when I play these takes back to back, the differences are going to be subtle, but they are noticeable and they do impact the way that you hear the line.
A relay race of almost no pain is sliding me to escape when I could face the shadows of my brain before they follow me into the cave. A relay race of almost no pain is sliding me to escape when I could face the shadows of my brain before they follow me into the cave.
Now, neither of these sounds are a particularly bad thing. It just kind of depends on what you value more in the music that you're trying to make. Do you value precision in your music, and are you trying to express that through an ultra polished sound? Or do you value raw emotional expression in the way that you're trying to deliver your lyrics? If you tend to align more with the first idea, then great, pitch correction could be like perfect for you. It's going to really help you achieve the sound that you want to go for. However, for me, my music is like very deeply personal, so I want as much of that like humanity and that personality to shine through my vocals as possible. So I've just been opting to not use pitch correction because when I throw it on there, it kind of takes away a certain element of that. Even if it ends up coming out slightly less polished and there's like a few little areas where I could be a little bit more in key, to me it's worth it just because it makes it way more expressive. And now the second main reason as to why I've stopped using pitch correction is mostly just because honestly I really don't need it that much. I really don't have much trouble holding pitch for long periods of time, and a lot of the time I'll actually use pitch modulations as a way to express myself. There's tons of moments throughout this song where I'm like sliding around pitch, going out of key, and I'm doing that on purpose as a way to add some flair to the music. And a good example I have of that is this line right here towards the beginning of the song, where I'm doing this thing where I'm sliding my pitch a lot, and one of the notes that I'm sliding up from is completely out of key. And so when we run it through a pitch corrector and move that note so that way it's in D major, which is what the first half of this song is in, you can hear it just kind of messes with the sound in a way that's not that pleasant to my ears.
I can drag me down all around in a way I can't explain. I can drag me down all around in a way I can't explain.
So you could definitely hear it just doesn't sound the same when it's pitch corrected, and maybe you like the pitch corrected sound more, and if that's what you prefer, then go with it. But as I've said multiple times so far, I just don't prefer it. I'd rather have that like raw, authentic human voice sound, even if it's a little bit imperfect and strays from the key at times. Now I guess the nice thing about pitch correction as opposed to something like auto-tune is that you get a lot of control with how you want to correct the vocals. If we take a look at the NuTone interface, you can see that we get to hand pick which notes we want to move around and how far we want to move them. So like if there's one section of the vocal up here at the beginning that's really expressive and has a lot of slides, we don't have to modify that. But if they have one note over here later in the take that's a little bit flat or a little bit sharp, and we can't redo that part of the take, we could just slide that one note up without messing with the really cool expressive part at the beginning. And for something like that, pitch correction can be awesome. I think it's really useful for situations like that where you can't redo the take. But honestly, a lot of the time, if the vocalist you're recording is a legitimately good singer, they're really not gonna need pitch correction. And by just throwing pitch correction on their vocals and moving around all their notes so that way it's perfectly aligned to the grid, you're kind of doing them a disservice. And if you're recording your own vocals and you're relying on pitch correction in order to make your voice in key, then you're doing yourself a disservice. Rather than spending time practicing holding pitch and, improving your technique as a singer, you're just kind of relying on the software to do it for you. And this is just going to kind of keep you trapped in mediocrity, and you're not going to actually improve as a vocalist. You're just going to be stuck using NuTone to fix your flaws. And being able to hold pitch is not a result of talent, it is a result of practice. Take an instrument, any instrument, and just play a note on that instrument and try to hold that pitch with your voice. Or if you don't have an instrument and you only have a DAW, just put a note down on MIDI, play it in your headphones, and try to sing that note. Hold it for as long as you can. And then you just continuously do that until you get better at holding pitch. If we were to take a listen to this one specific line right here where I'm saying the word cave and I'm dragging it out for 4 bars, you can hear that even though there's no pitch correction on that, I'm still pretty much like spot on with where I need to be. What I just let you guys hear is the unmodified recording. I pulled it up in NuTone so that way you can see that even without me adjusting any of the notes, they're falling pretty much exactly where they need to fall, and I'm holding them for the proper duration that I need to hold them for. And this is a skill that literally anyone can develop. If you have a voice, you are able to hold pitch. It just takes a certain amount of practice for you to get there. So for me, obviously, I still have a lot of room for improvement as a singer. There's a lot of little areas that I need to practice more, but I've definitely reached that point where throwing pitch correction on all of my vocals is just kind of redundant. I really don't need it. It kind of takes away a lot of the expression that I want to convey using my voice, and it can kind of make my vocals sound over-processed at times. So yeah, those are pretty much my reasons for why I decided to stop using pitch correction. And obviously, if you still want to use it, hey, that's your choice. It's a tool in the belt at the end of the day, and who am I to judge someone for taking advantage of it? Just use it carefully and be cautious of the ways that it can kind of ruin the expression in your vocal if you overuse it. And just don't allow it to become a crutch that you're just using to make up for bad singing technique. So yeah, overall, hope you found that video entertaining, maybe even a little bit educational. Stay on the lookout for that new song. It's going to be out Wednesday, June 21st. And if you're watching this later, then it's already out. It's called Time in a Fishbowl. Leave a like if you would like, and I will catch you next time, fool.